So oh crap! It's the
Why
conquest.
is there a giant bread?
It's the conquest of the bread.
Oh my god! Is it because I was talking about Kropotkin?
Maybe.
Oh my god!
I know I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
It's a giant dad joke. Why can I not see my mom? There it is. There we go.
Oh god damn it! I have so much crap on my desk right now. I've got nowhere to put my beer. Normally it goes beside the mouse, but I've got extra padding under the mouse pad so you guys don't hear the big every time I move the mouse.
I have extra padding under the mouse pad too, but that's just because I'm fat.
Yeah. Okay. So, I had to bump a news story today, but I do still want to mention it.
Okay.
I was going to talk about how Hyundai has now, in their non-union plants, they have announced that they are going to be raising wages by 25% by 2028, and that is a direct result of the recent UAW deal, which means, once again, as is pretty much always the case, the unions are working for the workers, even the ones that aren't part of the union. So, like, unions are a good thing. Remember, because corporations need the workers. They need them. But they will pay them as little as they can get away with paying them. So when Hyundai sees that, hey, all the unionized plants just got a big old deal where they're going to be raising their wages a bunch, suddenly everybody that works for us is going to be looking at those other plants going like, hey, if I go there, I can do the same job and make a bunch more money. So they said, hey, we should raise our wages too. So, yeah, go unions.
Amazing how that works.
Still raising money for charity. We're at $4,666.66. Amusingly, we got to that number with the last donation in the amount of $420. So funny number got us to funny number.
69 or 420?
No, 420. 420 got us to 666.
Oh, I forgot there's another funny number.
Yeah, there's lots of funny numbers, but
there's
yeah.
atheist funny number.
But we need the people in chat that can't deal with it ending in not even dollars. So like, I know it's funny number right now, but we need more money. Project Share needs more money.
It always needs more money.
Yeah,
it will continue to need more money.
Yeah, yep. That's why I do this every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, hello everybody. I've got some people going on in the. We've got Fuzzy Squirrel in the Twitch chat. Hi, Fuzzy Squirrel. But yeah, so
it's kind of funny how, like, for me, my Twitch chat is always the most populated, but for you, it's going to always be the YouTube chat that's more populated.
Yeah, well, my YouTube chat on the stream seems to be broken right now.
Oh, so when it does that for me, the only thing that I have to do, and it's really stupid, is I have to create a new window or a new browser source, and then I just paste the old browser information into the new browser source, and then magically it works. I don't know why I have to do that, but YouTube chat's real stupid.
Well, because of how I got this set up now, we're going to disappear for a second.
Is a funny number because it's only funny to people who are really, really, really superstitious.
I don't think that worked. Yeah, well, I mean, I used to work in a hotel that they put the restaurant on the 13th floor specifically so that they could, in the elevator, have the floors go 11, 12, R, 14.
Also, Alpha Mario, thank you so much for the raid. But most of the hotels I've been at that are like large enough to have a 13th floor almost always skip it for one reason or another.
That's because of superstition.
Yeah. Why would anyone want to shop on the R floor?
Okay, we're going to disappear again for a second.
Oh, God. We're dying to technical difficulties, everybody.
They won't hear us either. Yeah. So, yeah, Cirrus' stream doesn't count unless you donate to Project Share, is what we just heard.
It's amazing how that works.
Okay, so my chat's back. Yay.
I see that.
So speaking of technical difficulties, with regards to the first story we're going to cover, I did watch the press conference today from the governor of New York, and it opened with worse technical difficulties than I've ever had. It was just like an infinite repeat of screens, and it was like, but it wasn't just the infinite repeat of screens. It was like the last word she had said repeated over and over and over, and like echoing over and over.
Do you feel infinitely more professional now?
Yes. So I'm like, this is someone who is literally their job. Like like for me, I just kind of fell into this. It was a hobby that turned into a job. For them, they put on their resume that that's something that they can do. And they got hired to do that job by someone else who was like, yes, you can do a good job at that.
To be fair, you can put this on a resume now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this is experience you have now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have considered that. I'm like, if I have to re-enter the workforce, would I go back to restaurants, or would I try and get a more technical job based on my experience YouTubing?
I think I would 100% suggest technical job. I've thought about the same thing for me, it would be for health insurance reasons, because health insurance outside of getting it from an employer is like $500 a month minimum in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I can get it subsidized by the government, but the problem is that those subsidies from the American Affordable Care Act, or the Affordable Health Care Act, are not that great when you're self-employed. Not really.
Nope, because you're supposed to be able to pay for your own healthcare when you're self-employed.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird
the same
like
thing.
that.
I pick up my ADHD meds today, and prescriptions are not free in Canada, like going to the doctor is. And but most people do have like 80% coverage of their prescriptions through their employer. That's a pretty basic healthcare plan in Canada. But I go in because I'm self-employed. They're like, oh, it's going to be $116. You know that, right? I'm like, yes, I know that. This is like the 50th time I've picked it up. Not 50, but like...
you're just like, yeah, no, I know I have to suffer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Asina in my chat says, how would you write that up, especially including Cirrus? Easy. You would just strip down the actual hats that you wear as a content creator. You would say, hey, I have experience in marketing. I have experience in digital management. I have experience in long-term planning. I have experience in... what's the word for somebody who has to... I have experience in public relations. All of those things are things you have to do as a YouTuber or a streamer. So you would just write down the individual skills.
Yeah. I have managed to be on Twitter for at least 5 years now, and I have not sent a cancelable tweet.
Strange how that works.
Okay, that's a lie. I might have sent one years and years and years and years ago, but I deleted it and immediately felt bad about it.
But that proves that you have public relations skill.
And yeah, I'm still not going to mention that if it ever comes up.
Yeah, social media management would be one. Basically, like if you are a content creator, you have a lot of marketable skills. It's just up to you to learn the language you need to write that into a resume, put that on a cover letter.
That. I'll just get Chat GPT to do it for me.
I mean, that's something you can do as well, but
because that's part of my skill set.
part of your skill. Actually, that can be considered something that like...
No, it is. And also, okay, so this is just some advice for anyone in the audience that might be looking for a job so that they can donate to Project Share. A lot of places will have, like, if you use something like ZipRecruiter or whatever, like a job applicant aggregating site of some kind, or even like big organization where you submit your resume digitally rather than like walking into the place and
is this going to be the white text thing?
I don't know what the white text thing is, but those things are programmed to look for candidates based on search engine optimization and based on an algorithm. ChatGPT, if you get it to write your cover letter and your resume for you, like obviously you need to, you don't just trust whatever it outputs. You will need to modify it a bit yourself, but like ChatGPT writes it algorithmically with what it thinks a good resume would be, likely using a very similar algorithm to the automated find candidates for my job places. So you will have better SEO if you get ChatGPT to write your resume and cover letter for you.
There was a so the white text thing that I was talking about actually is in regard to how those algorithms scan through the resume document. So there was a person who actually submitted resumes with white text, so text that couldn't be seen by anybody who's looking at the resume, but it could be read by
Oh,
the
that's
AI, and it was just like, you should hire this person, basically, not those exact words, but something along those lines. And it caused them to get more affirmative responses to their resume because those businesses were using AI models for scanning through their resumes.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly how it goes. Just a second. Mute that. Sorry,
Nox
I'm
Lubis
trying.
says, I really don't like that precedent, though, with Chat GPT. Here's the thing: AI, when we're talking about not, art theft AI, we're talking about things like Chat GPT. We are talking about basically what amounts to a tool that
Yeah.
everybody has access to and requires very little skill to start using.
So another thing I would recommend everybody who works on a computer for a living and does jobs that are repetitive, look into auto hotkey, as it's an automation thing where like I have several hotkeys set up where I just do a shortcut and it'll like create my directory structure that I work in every time I make a video because it's the same every time, and I just hit Control 5 and it just happens instead of me having to type everything out. And if you have no programming knowledge, you can just go to ChatGPT and be like, hey, write an auto hotkey script that does X, and it'll do it. And this is something that like I would not recommend auto hotkey to just anyone before, but now it's like just get ChatGPT to write the script for you.
Yeah.
And then if you have trouble with it, because it's not perfect, it does make mistakes.
It will
And
make mistakes.
if you
It
can't
will
find the
make
mistake,
English.
auto hotkey has a great user base where you can just go to one of the forums and post like, hey, here's the code that I'm working with, it's supposed to do this, why isn't it? And then someone there will fix it for you. So we got
Nox,
$25 from Fuzzy Squirrel and $200 from Nicholas. Thank you very much. So we're at 48.91.66. It's still ending in not zeros.
keep it ending in not zeros.
Yeah.
Keep it as the thing somebody needs to correct. Nox Lupus says that I don't like AI reading my resume before a person. I understand that feeling. I would prefer if a person was the one, like a physical flesh and blood person was always the one who looked over my stuff before a robot did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, much like with how I have to have YouTube figure out if my content's monetizable,
Yeah.
that's the world we live in.
It's just the reality of the world is that you're going to have a computer reading your resume before a person does. Anyway, let's get on to the first news item.
I refuse.
You don't want to talk about this?
Sure, actually.
Okay.
Well,
so I actually went to the trouble of normally I have everything highlighted, but because this is a developing story, like you see, it was updated 37 minutes ago.
It's going to change.
This has
every
changed.
hour or so.
This like the video wasn't here when I updated it. So or last time I read this. So there's going to be stuff in here that's new to me as well. But anyway, if you hadn't heard, a car blew up on the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls today, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on the story itself so much as talking about the right-wing reaction to the story.
That's the part that's been the most, I wouldn't say interesting to me, but more alarming.
Yeah,
because it's predictable.
We have a couple of tweets, but like there's a lot of stuff. Like Fox News was reporting. I definitely subscribe to the podcast Decoding Fox News, because when the episode where they cover this stuff comes out, I'm sure she will go into detail with like how their coverage evolves. But like just from what I've seen, it's pretty gross. Anyway, so I have the video of the car. I'm not going to play it there, so I'm just going to do this. So up at the top of the screen, you see the car zoom. Like, that's crazy.
That's the type of jump that you see in movies.
Yeah. Well, that's That's how the witnesses described it. They were like, "Oh yeah, it was just like something you saw in the movies." And so one of the first items of reporting that I saw on this said that the car went through a first checkpoint and then crashed into the inspection booths, like the second checkpoint, basically, at a high speed, and that's when it exploded. There is no first and second checkpoint at that bridge. I have crossed that bridge myself. That, like, the street that it's on right there, that you see it driving off of, that's Main Street in New York. Like, that's literally Main Street. There's no checkpoint on there before the bridge. They didn't go through a first checkpoint. But because of that reporting, what people took that to mean was they got through a checkpoint on the Canadian side and then rammed into the American customs.
Oh God,
place.
The Canadians are attacking us, Rhino.
Well, so that's
the invasion has begun.
That's where some of the first reactions were people saying, "Oh, this is because of Biden's open border policy." So like now now they're coming in from the north as well.
This is like how
but then when it came out that like, oh no, they were actually on the American side and didn't even get through the gates on the American side. So like they didn't even cross the border at all. Didn't even get to where the border would be crossed. Then suddenly they changed their tune and they were still saying like, because something happened at the border, something dramatic happened at the border, and
they're going to stick with that.
Open borders is a buzz. Open borders is a right-wing buzzword. Yeah, they have now turned it into. Actually, no, it's probably changed again because now we know a little bit about who was driving the car, but it changed to. People that Biden allowed in the southern border as part of the caravans or whatever have now made their way north all the way through the country to do this at the northern border. Like I actually saw several tweets from people saying that, and I think there was one clip on Fox News where they said something along those lines. Now Fox immediately jumped on this. They said the car was full of explosives and that it was a terrorist attack. And they just went completely off the rails with it. And then it came out that like, oh no, it actually wasn't a terrorist attack. It was like an old couple who crossed the border regularly to go to the casinos in Niagara Falls, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happened there, but like they've been living in Western New York for years.
Is the couple there? Are they alive still?
No.
I'd imagine not.
No, they are not. Anyway, let's actually read the thing because there might actually be some new information here that I don't know. Okay. The United States and Canadian governments went into high alert. 4 international bridges were closed and cross-border train travel came to a halt. Yeah, actually, so this marks this is a Twit tweets first. I actually, because this happened so close to me, I actually have a correspondent out in the field. So let's cut to our live coverage of the situation at the Peace Bridge in Fort Erie.
Oh dear. You've got an animation for it and everything?
Shush. This is Vice Rhino reporting live from the Peace Bridge, and yeah, that shit's closed.
Oh my god.
My favorite part of this is how my animation introducing it, the intro and outro for that, are longer than the clip itself.
That makes it so much better.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, that's actually outdated. It's not closed anymore. They opened it back up like an hour after I went out and did that.
My God, you are a wonderful human being for that.
I'm like, it happened so close to home. I had to do something.
To go out on your front lawn to point a camera at.
Yeah, no, I can actually see the Peace Bridge from my yard. But yeah, no, I went out to the Central Avenue Bridge that goes over top of the QEW right before, and yeah, got a little clip of myself. Anyway. Yeah, so 2 people died Wednesday in the crash after hitting the median at the Niagara Falls International Rainbow Bridge in New York as they sped toward Canada. Governor Kathy Hochul, is that how you say that? Hochul, something like that. Said that
looks like Hochul.
Yeah, said that investigators found no indications of terrorism. So there's no like they haven't ruled it out yet, but there's no indicator that says that this is terrorism.
So
And
the
there's
the
like,
thing with terrorism is you've got to be able to point to what type of political end they're
yeah,
trying to push for.
yeah, terrorism doesn't work unless somebody claims responsibility and says, "I did that because I want X."
Yeah, like unless we're gonna find some like some VHS tape just sitting somewhere near the bridge where an old man is staring at the camera going, "I did this because I lost everything at the casino," then it's not a terrorism until we get to that point.
Yeah, so she said there was a horrific incident, a crash, an explosion, loss of life. She said, but at this time, no known terrorist connection. So nobody has said I claim responsibility for this, and it sounds like the police know who was in the car. They just haven't released it to the public yet. Um, so so the fact that they like if they were like posting something on social media about their political goals and what they wanted, and like, oh, I wish someone would do this to make this point or whatever, um that would be pretty big indication that that was an act of terrorism. So the fact that they haven't said anything about that means it probably is not. Mayor of Niagara Falls said in an interview that his office has been inundated with calls and that he had found himself confronting conspiracy theories that were exploding online. Exploding. I see what they did there. Rumors spread about that a second car rental truck, a threat to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. I haven't heard that one. That's news to me. But yeah, this is in, they had the bomb squad there for a while because they found a suitcase that was unattended near the border after that. And they were like, ooh, is that maybe another bomb or something? And no, it wasn't. It was just a suitcase. Yeah, so they, out of an abundance of caution, they closed all 4 border crossings in Niagara. And that's where you got me at the Peace Bridge going like, yeah, that shit's closed.
Vice Rhino here on the scene.
Yeah, bringing you the nuanced takes that nobody else will share.
Jeez.
Okay, yeah, Ricky Wilson, 65-year-old tour guide, is the person that was the witness that described it. Oh, Sir Man McDude just subscribed to the channel on Twitch. Thank you, Sir Man McDude. Now go donate to charity if you haven't already. My forward seemed to be my forward seemed to be down again, but the link is in the description, and there should be a Stream Elements bot. Yeah, it's in the YouTube chat, and it's in the Stream Elements chat. So there we go. There's a tiny URL. That one does work. I don't know what's going on with Hover, that they can't get their shit together for it to work, but the link is also in the description on YouTube. So yeah. Ricky Wilson said it hit the concrete barrier and went up. It came down and hit an inspection booth, he added. I know it sounds crazy, but the car was in the air, not 3 or 4 feet in the air. It was like something you see in Hollywood. The fence it went over to get to the inspection booth was 8 feet tall, so it like went over.
Yeah, no, that car looked like it was zooming in the clip.
Mm-hmm. It's like freaking Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, that's not a thing that you. Hopefully, not as many sequels as Fast and the Furious.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's not a thing you want to see more than once.
So yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, that's it doesn't look like there's too much new information here. Oh, here's a oh no, that's the same video we just saw, it's just higher quality. But
Little orange juice in my chat goes, that car looked like a SpaceX rocket. Yeah, it certainly went airborne, quite airborne.
Yep, and then exploded on a fiery ball of death.
I feel bad for the people who were in the car for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I hear let's see. It's supposedly like I heard somebody say it was a Bentley. I've heard other people say it was a Mercedes. I don't know what type of car that is. I can't tell from the video.
I'm not a car person, so I wouldn't be able to tell from
I'm
any
I'm
indicators.
not a car person, but it used to be my job to like write down the make and model of various cars, so sometimes I can recognize some cars. I want to say that almost looks like Mercedes or Audi, I'm thinking. It's
Robbie says dem Duke boys are at it again. Hopefully with fewer Confederate flags.
yeah. My point is, um, the way Fox News has covered this has been ridiculous. Like, and they actually, when they walked back their claim that the car was full of explosives, they they made it out um, as though it was their sources that were walking things back, and not them having jumped on their preferred narrative too quickly. So yeah, it was really interesting to see how this played out in the right wing and the Fox News crowd, and how they immediately just blame Biden for this, blame terrorism. We're gonna look at a tweet where they actually say, "Oh, it's confirmed that it was Islamic terrorism." It's like,
Of
no,
course it would be.
no, it hasn't been. It's actually been confirmed that we pretty much are sure that it's not terrorism.
It's been confirmed that it's a couple of old people that had an unfortunate thing happen to them.
Yeah,
That's what's been confirmed.
yeah. And Clueless Expert says confirmed by some intern at Fox News, and by confirmed here we mean they said it. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say about that for now. We'll come back to that when we get to the actual tweets. So moving on, we're going to get to the faith-based leader for Philly's Moms for Liberty chapter is a registered sex offender.
I just covered this yesterday.
Oh,
It's
I'm sorry.
well, no, not that. So you pre-read the story, so you already know
Mm-hmm.
the particular apologetic this person uses for
Yes,
this.
yes, I do.
It's
It's
kind of yikesy.
it's kind of yikesy, but it's also kind of believable. Like I could see an actual cult behaving in that way, but like,
Yeah, it's very
from
it's
like
it's very much like,
I
hey,
didn't I
this cult tried to blackmail me,
I
and they
didn't
did
do
it
it.
with
Yeah, so I didn't do a deep dive into them, but I like from what I did read, it did not seem that that was the kind of behavior they engaged in. Like they didn't really do stuff like that to try and keep people trapped in them. Um, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to it when we get to it. Anyway, so Philip Fisher Jr. is a pastor and Republican leader who coordinates faith-based outreach for Philadelphia's Moms for Liberty. Now, you remember last week when we covered 1 million moms and how they'll accept anybody regardless of gender and call them one
yeah.
of their 1 million moms? Well, now we got Moms for Liberty has the guy who coordinates their faith-based outreach who is not a mom for liberty. He's a guy. So like they'll condemn transgender people all day long, but then they're like, "Oh no, you can join us even if you're not a mom and just call yourself one of the Moms for Liberty." But you know, like I don't know, the hypocrisy there is just delightful slash infuriating.
Clanned Karenhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's clanned Karenhood.
Yeah. So he's
Um,
also a registered sex offender due to a 2012 felony conviction for aggravated sexual abuse of a 14-year-old boy when Fisher was 25. Um, that's actually another trend I've noticed because wasn't like Matt Gaetz was 25 when he adopted his 14-year-old son, and I think was it the Speaker of the House? Same situation with him. He was also 25 when he adopted a 14-year-old kid.
it's like it takes them till about 30 to realize that rape bad, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
That's weird.
I'm not saying for sure that Matt Gaetz and Mike Johnson raped the kids that they adopted, but like it's very highly suspect that a 25-year-old would adopt a 14-year-old.
So the one thing that I did find about the story that was interesting to me was one of the defenses that this guy uses over what happened. Not just the like, hey, not just when he went, hey, I was part of a cult and then this cult tried to blackmail me, but also when they went, hey, so I've never tried to hide this part of my past.
Yes,
This
I
has just
saw
been a
that.
thing that's been there the entire time. It's like
Yeah, it's a
I'm
thing that's been there the entire time that you like. like he's okay. If we skip forward in the story a little bit, because you've already kind of
The
got
the
to a lot of
reason
that stuff.
the
He
reason that this happened.
he's listed on Pennsylvania's Megan's Law website. Megan's Law means it's not just I wasn't trying to hide it. You're supposed to announce it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the reason that this even came out in the first place was because to be one of the people in charge of an event that involved children, they had to actually mail in their sexual their registration as a sex offender to one of the event organizers so that they could participate, because it's required by law that if you've done this, anytime you
That's
do
Megan's
anything
Law,
involving
yes.
kids, like you have to put forward like, hey, this is a part of my past, this is a thing that I've done. And that's how this story came to light in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, he was trying to work with kids, but yeah, everybody said they were surprised and astounded to hear of his past. And but he actually
never took any moment to hide it, though, so they should have
so
all known, right?
he did so one person that was organizing a thing where he had to deal with children, they actually got a letter from the Department of Human Services about a child abuse history certification in Fisher's name, which said that no records existed. So she got one saying he was clear and he could work with kids. So yeah, it sounds like that sort of thing needs to be like done at a federal level, where it's not like, oh, there's no record exists in this state. It's like let's look at a federal registry. Does a record exist in any state? Because
Yeah.
like, quite frankly, I don't want my kids, like, I live in Ontario, and if one of their teachers is fine in Ontario,
But they did something.
but they did
over
something
in Alberta.
in Alberta, like, I want to know about the Alberta thing.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's
That
not like-
arbitrary border doesn't actually change anything with regards to this.
No, I'm a different person. I moved to a whole different town. That makes me a brand new, reborn, redeemed me.
Mm-hmm.
Just
We've got Sakura. I think it's Sakura, right? That one?
yeah, Sakura.
Sakura says, today the transphobic right-wingers seem to have a disproportionate rate of abusing children. Yeah, that's
Weird.
one of the things that I've noticed on threads, actually, is they seem to be keeping up with all the, like, everybody that gets caught abusing kids or having child porn or something along those lines. And every time, it's not a drag queen, it's not a trans person. It's a priest, it's a cop, it's a pastor, it's all these people that are railing against trans people, saying that trans people are groomers.
Yep.
Like, fuck off, man. You got a literal child molester.
There's a reason that the adage for the last few years has been that every Republican
Mhm.
accusation is a confession.
Yep.
I don't like pretending that adage holds true all the time, because there's obviously, like, it's obviously impossible to be a 100% truism, but
So
it just keeps happening.
yeah, no, like I have never really cared for the argument that, like, oh, the pastors who preach the loudest against homosexuality are closeted homosexuals. I've never really cared for that, because
It makes it
that-
seem like gay people are the only ones oppressing themselves.
yeah, but that also turns it into like it kind of goes back to using gay as an insult. Like, oh, you're just saying that because you're gay. And that just, I don't like that. Like, if you are actually gay and you're in a position where you're supposed to be anti-gay, then I feel sympathy for you. But, like, at the same time, the people like Ted Haggard that are, like, very high profile anti-gay, but they are actually gays, like, no, come on, man. You can't
Yeah.
be like that yourself and then deny that same thing for everybody else.
It's like watching a Blair White video and seeing just how
Oh,
much stuff
God.
she'll say about trans people, because everybody else is apparently not the right kind of trans for her.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, come on. These are the people who would be standing with you for your rights. Meanwhile, the Steven Crowders of the world wouldn't. But which ones are you going to stand?
Yeah. So yeah. So my point is, like, I don't really like saying that as a blanket statement. But in the case of the Republicans, oh yeah, we got Sunshine. Said, wasn't Ted Haggard the one caught doing cocaine off the bum of a rent boy in a bathroom? I don't know if it was that exact situation, but yes, there was a male prostitute involved.
I'm gonna say it sounds plausible.
It could have been that. I don't know if it was off his bum, but there was cocaine involved. There was a male prostitute involved.
Come here, I need to bump a line off your ass.
So the details might be slightly different, but the broad strokes are correct.
But let's not talk about broad strokes when we're talking about this situation.
Hey,
mainly because
if you enjoy broad strokes, go to adamandeve.com and use code. I'm not sponsored by adamandeve.com, but they should sponsor me because my audience would totally go for that.
Go to ddlgplayground.com, use coupon code Cirrus. I am sponsored
there
by
you
a sex
go.
shop.
There you go.
Perfect.
Everybody do that for your sex shop needs. And then Cirrus, send in a good word for me. You still haven't done that. Or they just ignored you.
Over at DDLG Playground?
Yes.
So the story there is that they have actually retired their sponsorship program.
I know. And I was like, hey, I have a degenerate audience as well. So if they're still sponsoring you, they can sponsor me as well. Anyway. Okay. Next article. Both sides appeal ruling that Trump can stay on Colorado ballot despite insurrection finding. So this is one of those things where, if you're not familiar, Colorado, there was a group in Colorado that sued to have Trump removed from the ballot on the grounds of which amendment is it? I forget, whichever amendment says that if you've engaged in insurrection in the past, you're not allowed to run for office. And it was an amendment that was specifically designed to keep former Confederates out of the government. 14th Amendment. Is it the 14th Amendment? I thought that was the one that made like black people equal and stuff.
No, that's the 13th Amendment. That was the one that took away the ability to have slavery except when you're in the prison system, in which case slavery is still okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, the 14th Amendment. So basically the ruling in Colorado was the judge said, yes, I do find that Trump committed insurrection or he incited insurrection.
Also,
however,
real quick, Hannah Reloaded, thank you so much for the raid. I hate to interrupt.
Hannah Reloaded, all right.
But I have to. Thank you for the raid. Hopefully Chud Watch went well.
Fucking love Hannah. She's great.
Hannah's a wonderful person. I'm not even gonna lie.
She is great.
No, we've
and
got
actually that emoji on Twitch that's like the guy going that like everybody uses. I feel like the first time I saw that, I thought it was Jake of Hannah and Jake, but then I just saw it everywhere, and it's like, oh, these people have no reason to know anything about Hannah and Jake.
It wasn't the Corn Cob King the entire time.
Yeah, but so Hannah, you've got good taste in raiding Cirrus. Raid me next. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, Colorado thing. The judge ruled that yes, he did commit insurrection, but because of a technicality in the language of the amendment, he's still allowed on the ballot because, and it's some ridiculous thing about how like the amendment says anyone who's taken an oath to uphold the Constitution and then is engaged in insurrection cannot be on the ballot. But the president's oath is not to uphold the Constitution; it's to support the Constitution. Therefore,
that's a bullshit reading.
Yeah, it is bullshit. So, anyway, we'll get into it. But the liberal group is appealing because they're like, that's bullshit. That's such a stupid technicality. Obviously, the president is an officer of the United States. They're holding an office. Duh. Meanwhile, Trump is appealing because, like, despite the fact that he has actually claimed this as a win, which, like, if he's claiming it as a win, why would he be appealing it? Well, he's appealing it because the judge ruled he did, in fact, incite insurrection.
So it's a win because it means he can run for president, but it's not a win because he won for the reason he didn't want to win for. He won for a reason that says he did in fact try to overthrow the United States government.
Yeah. And
Man,
now
how awkward for him.
the case is going to the Colorado Supreme Court, which all 7 justices on the state Supreme Court were appointed by Democrats, which means that it could actually go either way, because Democrats are the ones that actually like look at the law and try and interpret it in the way that it's meant to be interpreted, rather than just trying to push their own agenda.
How can we stop the gays from fucking, Rhino? That's what we need to be looking at the law for.
But I mean, whatever the Colorado Supreme Court says, someone's going to appeal it, and it's going to end up in front of the actual Supreme Court, which, yeah, I feel like that's going to be another 5. Is it 5-4 or 6-3 decision?
We've been seeing more 5-4.
It's
lately.
the 5-4, so it'll be a 5-4 decision in favor of Trump, because that's what they do.
Yep.
Because the Republicans are the ones that are like, oh, no, is this a Republican thing? Then we will vote in favor of it, and we will ad hoc make our explanation kind of make sense, maybe, if you look at it sideways. Whereas the Democrats are like, they're the ones that are more willing to be like, yeah, I disagree with this personally. However, you know, that's the way the law
states
is.
This.
Like, I might disagree with it personally, but that's the law. And we're at $4,900.84. So thank you to whoever got it to 84 cents instead of 66 cents. I don't know what the donation was for that, but that's going to drive some people nuts. So someone needs to fix that, and then someone else needs to break it again.
Jeez,
I've you know, in previous years, I've raised a significant amount of money just based on people like making it an uneven amount and then trying to fix it.
So you've made a lot of money off the back of ADHD.
No, that one would be OCD.
Fair. They hand in hand sometimes.
And yeah,
sometimes.
So that's basically it for that. I'm surprised at how quickly we got through the news stories today.
I mean, honestly, what is that for the last one though? How much more can you say besides Trump isn't happy that a court ruled that he did in fact do an insurrection, and that is a bad thing. But he technically
says
gets
it's
to
a
be
good
president.
thing. He keeps telling people it's a good thing.
Everything's a good thing for him.
It was Yannick donated $9.18 to make it $4,984. So someone needs to donate like $199.16 to make it an even 5,000.
Jeez.
Or no, $99. No, donate $109. Don't punish Project Share because I'm bad at math. Give him the extra 100.
Punish Rhino. Guys, we need fan art of punished Rhino.
I mean, no, go away. We've got bread, Rhino.
There is bread, Rhino. Rhino has been bred. It's true. It's very true. That's not what punished Rhino would be.
It'd be bread Rhino, but with like red stripes on it from being whipped.
That's
oh, god damn it!
Jesus Christ!
I'm sorry.
No, guys. It's a Metal Gear Solid thing, not a kink thing. I hate to disappoint you.
Said Sheeny says Rhino looks baked.
He'll never tell you, or maybe he will. I don't know.
No, I've tried various drugs. So marijuana. I had the classic experience with edibles where it wasn't doing anything.
And then suddenly...
So I just went to town, and then it was a bad trip.
These drugs ain't shit.
Well, okay, so I tried to do it responsibly. So like it's like over the course of several days, it was like, okay, well, this amount is supposed to be a moderate amount. Okay, so I'll try that. Nothing happened. This amount is supposed to be a lot, but still doable. Nothing happened. And then the final day, it was just like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to do it all.
Jeez.
And then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Nope, I'm actually not going to die because nobody dies from overdosing on marijuana, but I feel
You
like I'm going to
overdosed
die.
on
Oh my God.
weed.
Oh my God. I'm going to be the first person to die of a weed overdose.
You had the true reefer madness
Yeah,
experience.
no, it was, and like,
Before
it was one of those
before
things where like intellectually is like, I know I'm going to be fine, but I didn't
but your
feel
heart
like
is
I
still
was going to be
racing.
fine. And then I've done mushrooms. I've done mushrooms twice now. The first time, it was like, eh. Or no, well, okay, so it was fun, but like,
Hmm.
they kind of don't agree with my stomach. So it was like, was the fun worth the stomach pain? Not really.
Fair.
But then I tried it a second time while I was in Colorado, because apparently there's like some legal loophole in Colorado where they had a whole, like, we just were walking down and like old, I want to say it was old Colorado Springs. We were just walking down the street and there was like a mushroom store selling all sorts of mushroom stuff. And be like,
Huh.
is this legal here? And like, well, yeah, there's like some legal loophole that allows us to sell this. I'm like, okay. I mean,
Okay.
well in Rome, right? So
That said, I need to run to the restroom real quick.
sure, you do that.
I
So I will
I
finish.
leave you to take care of both chats for a sec.
I will finish telling the story of my bad trip because like, and it wasn't like a bad trip, but like we had the mushrooms and it was like the hallucinations were not fun that time. Like the previous time was like you look at the colors and like, whoa, those colors are doing neat stuff. But this time it was I don't know. It just wasn't as much fun, and not even from just a fun perspective. It was just like weird, and I didn't feel good about it, and it wasn't giving me the happy feelings that it was before. So it was like, okay, so this is a moderate, like it wasn't a bad trip. It wasn't like a, oh my God, I'm seeing creepy things everywhere. It was just like a, oh, this is not an enjoyable experience. Everything I look at is uncomfortable to look at. So I've had both. I've had a moderately positive experience and a moderately negative experience, and I'm just like, okay, I've had the experience. I can be done now. No more mushrooms for me. Um, but yeah. So anyway, Michael Decino gave $99.16 to bring it back to an even $5,000. So someone now needs to donate something with an uneven amount at the end so that we can drive the OCD people nuts again. Um, but yeah, we're at 5,000. We're halfway to our goal. We're more than halfway through November though, so we got to get more. Got to get more. And we got the Hollywood sign is proof of the Nephilim. Says high altitude tripping. Um, maybe the altitude had something to do with it. I don't know. That has possibilities. But yeah. So while Cirrus is gone, I'll give another overview of Project Share. So they have 17 programs that they run that help people out in the Niagara region. They do stuff like they run a food bank. They have a homeless shelter. They can help people with bills that they're late on. They help people with prescription costs. They give school supplies to children. They do a lot of good work in the area. And last year we raised $12,000 for them, and then it came out that like in their financial report, they raised a total of it was 50 some odd $1,000. I forget the exact number, but our $12,000 was almost a third of it. Was like 30% of the total that they had raised through third party fundraising, and that was fucking amazing, and it's great, and I'd love to continue that trend. So we need you guys to donate. Don't give money to me. Don't give money to Cirrus. Don't tell him I said that. But yeah. Oh god damn it! My internet browser kept started to play audio. Okay. So yeah, Project Share is pretty amazing. So you guys need to support Project Share, and yeah, Cirrus, I need you back here because I'm failing. I'm struggling. We got Mama Rhino didn't raise no quitter, more mushrooms. My mother would actually be very disappointed to hear that I had tried mushrooms. And I was actually surprised to find out that I have done more experimenting with drugs than my sister has, because she was always kind of the black sheep growing up. And that, like, she was smoking cigarettes when she was a teenager, and she had a child when she was 16 that she gave up for adoption. And like, I don't know, just everything led me to be surprised when it was like, oh yeah, I've tried mushrooms. She has not tried mushrooms. What? How has my sister not tried mushrooms? I thought for sure that would have been something that she had tried at some point. I don't think she's done weed either. I think she just like smoked and drank alcohol. So somehow me, who was always the good kid, like literally I was the last person that like my mother knows that I don't go to church anymore, but she hasn't heard that I'm an atheist per se. But yeah, I've been the good kid for years, but like I'm the first one to try all these heavy drugs. She'd be so disappointed in me. Let's hope she never finds these streams. God damn it. Is Cirrus pooping? Are you pooping, Cirrus? Just dropping a fat number 2 in the middle of our stream. Like, oh yeah, we got through the news articles pretty quick this time, so I got time for a number 2 in the middle of the stream. Fuck you, Cirrus. Fuck your face. Naramdaputs gave $8.68, says math.random, open bracket, close bracket, times 10. There you go. Thank you, Naramdaputs. And then Anonymous gave $22.22, so we're now at $5,099.90. So I guess we need someone to even it out again. So someone needs to give like $101.10 to get us to 5,100. No, 5,200. Would be hilarious because Hannah Reloaded rated Cirrus a couple minutes ago. Why would that be hilarious? Was Hannah talking about pooping on stream? I don't know. So everyone that's here because of Hannah, come to my stream. Go to twitch.tv/ViceRhino. That's where all the good shit's at. Forget this Cirrus guy. He's a loser. Don't watch Cirrus. Watch me. I stream with my partner on Tuesdays. We're reading a marriage book right now. It's kind of fun. It's a Christian marriage book, and it's shit. Oh, why not both? Why not both is because Cirrus streams like 24/7 oftentimes. So if you're on both, then you're going to be on Cirrus most of the time. So no, you gotta come to me. Yeah, we got someone followed me. I couldn't read that, but thank you. Yeah. Ooh. Oh wait, you know what I can do? I can hit me, Pandora 892. Ooh, Rovilern just subscribed. So while we're waiting for Cirrus, I can play this.
To get that honey sauce on me, I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
I don't know what that is. It's just some song that makes zero sense.
Oh,
you're back.
Everything.
You're back. Did you have a nice shit?
I had a very nice shit.
Did you enjoy your shit? I hope you enjoyed your shit, because like,
I enjoyed
that was
my
so
shit.
fucking awkward for me. I resorted to playing this.
To get that honey sauce on me, I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
Sounds like you actually had a really fun experience.
I was begging your audience to abandon you for me. And actually my Twitch views went up when I did that, so
So it was an effective
so it worked.
way.
It worked.
It was an effective way of doing things.
Yes, it was.
Jesus.
Okay. M the Ambassador says if that's wrong, I don't want to be right. I assume that's with regards to the chicken wing song.
I guess so. It looks like you're at $5,999 now and 90 cents.
Yeah. If you were here, if you weren't shitting, you would have known that.
But I'm here and I know that.
Yeah, well, I already talked about that, Cirrus.
Oh well, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. You did it all on your own. That's amazing.
Freedom Inc. says !resub. I don't know if that command works on my Twitch because I don't know how to set up commands on my Twitch properly, so I haven't really done it. Cirrus is going to need to help me with that at some point. And now all of Hannah's followers that I've been like, hey, come to me instead of Cirrus, are going to know that I'm just posing.
But you're not posing. You're just sitting right there like normaling.
I'm a poser. Well, you know what? I'm better at streaming than the governor of New York.
Apparently so.
Yeah. So
you can be proud of your profession because your skill set has the exact same pitfalls as an actual quote professional's skill set does. Apparently.
Okay. Anyway, let's do some tweets, shall we? So
I guess
we're going to start with Laura Loomer, who we're getting back into the bridge thing. It says breaking,
oh boy.
Confirmed Islamic terrorist attack near the U.S.-Canada border at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls. Shut the border down. A huge vehicle explosion has taken place at the U.S.-Canada border in Niagara Falls. The FBI is warned of a fluid situation. All 4 international border crossings between the U.S. and Canada have been closed following the explosion. Okay. First and foremost, as a Niagara resident, yeah, I get the urge to think of the 4 crossings in Niagara as being the only 4 crossings between Canada and the U.S. But like, no, there's a lot of fucking crossings between Canada and the U.S. that are not in Niagara.
Yeah. Also, so real quick, I'm being asked in my chat how to pronounce your new subscriber's name. Apparently,
which one?
Started with an R.
Razor Storm? No, it wouldn't be Razor Storm. Or Rovy Learn?
Rovy Learn. Thank you. I'm going to use that forever now.
Sure.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay.
So her source on this is just she made it the fuck up.
Yeah, she made it the fuck up because like confirmed Islamic terrorist attack. It's like they haven't confirmed the identities of the people that crashed their car, much less the religion of the people who crashed the car. Like,
don't you understand? The car was a color. That means it
was white. It was white supremacy.
Jesus.
Because we saw the car. We all saw the car.
It was definitely white. That means Muslim. That means confirmed is that this is 9/11/2, Rhino. And if you don't believe it was 9/11/2, then that makes you not a patriotic American.
9/11/2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. We won't stop until the towers do.
So on yesterday's stream with my partner, where we were reading the Christian marriage book, she compared women working outside of the home to the 9/11 of marriage. It was ridiculous. I was wrong. Like, I thought she was going to go to gay marriage is the 9/11 of marriage, but no, it was women working outside the home, basically.
Oh, fun. Jesus. Why are people? Why is Laura Loomer? Like, just not even any descriptor besides that. Why is she?
Why is Laura?
So I would say that this proves that she's not a real reporter, but the fact that Fox
is she a
News
reporter? Does she work for Fox?
Let's see here. Does she?
I don't know who she is. I just saw this tweet come up when I was like looking for actual information on this.
Oh no, she's just a white nationalist.
Okay. I was going to say
an American far right political activist.
I've seen her name before, but I couldn't remember who she was. So I'm just like, that's a ridiculous take. It needs to go on Twit tweets.
I wonder who she thinks she actually like confirmed this from.
She doesn't say. People ask her and she doesn't confirm how she confirmed it.
Oh, she was a former Project Veritas operative. That's where I recognize her.
She's a white supremacist. Okay, great.
That's where I recognize her name from. Captain Squid said she was the one who chained herself to Twitter HQ's door because she got banned for Islamophobia. Oh boy!
That sounds like fun.
Oh boy!
Oh, apparently Laura Loomer came close to winning the Herman Cain Award. I mean, given the quality of her tweets, maybe it would have been better for the world if she had. You know what the Herman Cain Award is, right?
Dying of COVID while being a Republican?
Or while being anti-vax and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Carrie Lake says, this may have been an attempted terror attack along our northern border. If so, our worst fears are being realized. Joe Biden is inviting this kind of chaos into our country. It was only a matter of time before bad people took him up on his offer. So this is part of the pivot when they realized that it was someone that was already in the States rather than someone trying to get into the States.
Yeah.
It's like, first off, when it was first announced, everybody was like, oh, well, they were trying to get it in the States and they couldn't, so they crashed their car into the inspection booth and blew it up. And so therefore it's a terrorist attack. And when that happened, they were like, oh, well, it's because of Joe Biden's open borders. See, they're even trying to get in from the north now. But then when it came out that, like, oh, no, they were just in the States and they didn't even make it out of the States, they pivoted to it's people that came in from the southern border because of Joe Biden's open border policy are now attacking the northern border.
Do these people just think that Canadians are snow Mexicans?
Yes.
So all the racist rhetoric
this is going to be so.
Vivek
Ramaswamy said that he wanted to build a wall in between Canada and the U.S. as well. I bet you he's going to use this as evidence that the wall should be built between Canada and the U.S. But also, this was not Carrie Lake's first tweet on the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Her first tweet contained a typo, which, if she was doing it from her phone, it would be a very hard typo to do unless she was in the habit of using the word that she got autocorrected to. Because she used a slur for Jewish people, one that starts with a K. It was like, it looks like it looks like, but it wasn't like, it was same word, but with a K. It's like, that's one of those words that, like, if I type that into my phone, it autocorrects it to things that are not that slur. And so the fact that that tweet made it through kind of suggests that her autocorrect is used to her saying that.
She's used it more than a few times lately.
Yeah.
It's like any time that somebody goes, why is Twitter advertising these depraved things to me? Why am I seeing femboys in tight pants? This is horrible. This is unchristian. Meanwhile, their search history shows that there's a reason they're saying it.
Yeah. But anyways, when somebody posted a screenshot of the original tweet, she responded with, there may have been a terrorist attack along our northern border, violence brought about by policies that you've enabled, and you're fixated on a typo. I guess this is someone that used to be a representative. The American people are blessed that you are no longer representing them. So it's like, yeah, her original tweet contained a typo that would have been very hard to make if you have autocorrect on, if autocorrect doesn't already know that you use that slur all the time.
I don't think autocorrect's ever given me that slur.
No.
Ever.
No.
Like, this just it's based off an algorithm, and that algorithm needs to see you typing those things a few times first before it knows that this is probably what you meant. It's probably what you meant.
Ooh. Okay, well. So the Hollywood sign is proof of the Nephilim says, does she use an iPhone? It used to autocorrect bigger to N-word right out of the box when I worked for Radio Shack.
Can someone make my iPhone not racist, please?
So in Canada, Radio Shack has been bankrupt for a number of years now, so I'm going to assume that this is old stuff that, like, is no longer the case. Yeah, Neurompus is explaining, I think it's the word you get when you replace the L in like with a K. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's some kind of slur, but to be honest, I've only ever heard it like once, and I'm not sure what it means. It's just a derogatory way of referring to Jewish people. It's like the N-word, but for Jewish people.
It's one of the words that the guy who gave me that really terribly done death threat tried to call me. because apparently I look Jewish enough.
It's because of your big nose on your avatar.
Yeah, I guess so. It's definitely the nose is the big part. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could. Do we want to get into comparing our tits to each other again?
I mean,
It's like I've got some pretty nice man boobs going on.
You've got the Mooba. You've got the Mooba. You're good.
I mean, so do you, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
look, cheeseburgers.
Let's be real here. We're both carrying a 6-pack, not a keg. Or no, we're both carrying a keg, not a 6-pack. Like, I make no. I don't try to hide the fact that I am not. I don't have a gym bod. I have a dad bod.
I've not been able to make a gym bod at the gym, and I'm still coming to terms with that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from the.
Oh God damn it! Are we
now.
gonna see Wendell every time? Now?
I think he's like the apologist. Nick, what's his name? Nick, the guy that I don't cover anymore because he's too much of a troll. Nick Adams. He's like the apologist Nick Adams, where like everything he says is just so fucking stupid, but it's funny. He says, "We are made in the image of God, not in the image of evolution." What does that even mean? What would the image of evolution even mean?
Don't you understand? Darwin is the god, and he preaches from on high about how we need to preserve the favored races. And if you don't believe that, then you're not a real evolutionist. Checkmate, Athey Tits.
Okay, sure. But like, I don't know. What does the in the image of evolution even mean? What does the image of God even mean, for that matter?
I mean, I understand when they say the image of God, they mean that like he made humans to emulate him and his qualities, which says a whole lot about the way we kill each other.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is that, like, they always want to blame anything humans do that is bad on the fall, and anything that's good is because we're in the image of God. But like everything that they come up with that is good is something that is demonstrated in the animal kingdom, at least to a rudimentary level.
Yep.
So it's like there really is no distinction between us and the other animals. I don't know. He called Jackson Wheat out because Jackson Wheat is doing a stream where they're talking about a bunch of his tweets. And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, you're gonna like I'm living rent free in your brain, buddy." And Jackson was like, "Well, you know what? I'd love to have you onto a stream to actually like talk to you, but I know you're too much of a coward for that." And notably, he did not reply to that one. Oh, Lord of Uzkalak solved it. The image of evolution is a crab.
We have to evolve to crab.
Yeah, everything has to
You're
evolve
right.
to crab. Crab is the final
Evolve to
form.
crab.
Crab is the final form.
If you're not evolving to crab, you're not doing it right.
Exactly. So humans are not doing it right. We are
No,
definitely
we're
not in the image of crab. Okay, we still need like $100.10 to get it to 5,200. Or would that be 5,300? I don't know. Just give lots of money. I've had too much beer to do math, so give money to make my math better. Like, give the amount of money that I say, and then tell me that I'm wrong with my answer to prove me wrong with math. It's not going to be like $5,099.90 plus $310.10 equals $5,200. Prove me wrong by giving $310.10 or whatever the fuck I just said. I don't know. I can't keep track of what I'm saying. Anyway, the transformed wife.
Hi, Lori. How's it going?
So this is a quote from Lindsay Harold. It says, "You're not allowed to say what men prefer. Women get mad when you say that men have preferences. They especially get mad if you say that men prefer women who don't have vices. Well, you know what? I'm a vice rhino, so I like women with vices." And you know what? My woman's got some vices, and I like those vices. They're fun. I like your awkward silence there. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I have no follow up to that. I have no follow up to that. There's also a very lengthy tweet from Lori, so I'm.
Yeah. Well, she says you're supposed to pretend that women can do whatever they want and men will love it. Okay. Sidebar here. Forget the rest of the tweet for the moment. How about women do whatever they want and don't worry about whether or not men will like it? Like, because women can be people in and of themselves. So, like, just do what you want to do. And if men don't like that, that's a them problem, not a you problem.
Like, I will say this, there is a little merit to doing things that your partner will like, but trying to argue that all women need to be cognizant of what all men like, as if either of these are monoliths we can define well enough to make those assumptions anyway, is stupid.
Yeah. So you're supposed to pretend that sins and bad habits have no consequences. Well, I mean, depends on the sin, because like sin is kind of a made up concept where like if you're not religious, sin doesn't even really exist. But like if the sin is like say adultery, if my partner cheats on me, I will be upset by that. I will not love that. And sure, the Bible calls that a sin. However, we're not married. So there's plenty of things that we do now that the Bible also calls a sin that I'm perfectly fine with that.
Let's see here. You're supposed to pretend that sins are bad. Sins and bad habits have no consequences.
At least when women do them.
Look, a sin is just anything that pisses God off. That's all it is.
Since God doesn't exist, nothing is sinful. So as long
But
as it's
look,
legal, have fun.
If I pretend it's sinful, it's hotter.
Okay, fair. There can be some of that in there.
So I have mixed fabrics. Who wants to sin with me? Ah, yes. Let's mix our fabrics together.
And Fight Mage Studio says, "Hey, fun fact: virtually everything has consequences. It's called cause and effect." Yeah, that too. But yeah, like I am wearing mixed fabrics now. I've got stuff in my garden. Like I've got different kinds of plants planted together in my garden.
Did you just say
Come
kinds?
at me, bro. Yeah.
You're an atheist, and you just agreed there are kinds.
Well, what's really funny about that is the Bible says not to breed your cattle with a different kind, which is kind of a pointless, it's kind of a pointless command if it's impossible for different kinds to breed together.
Which they would know already if they understood God's perfect creation.
Yeah.
Like God made them so they couldn't do that, right? At least that's what we thought.
Yeah. Anyway, the rest of this is just like we've gotten to the meat of this. The rest of this is just fluff.
The rest is Lori Alexander yelling?
Well, I mean, it's Lindsay Harold yelling while Lori Alexander quotes it, but yeah.
I make no distinctions. She said the words, they came from her mouth as far as I care.
So Sakura says, did they mean different breeds of cattle by kind, or did they mean no breeding cows with zebra? They meant different kinds of cows, different breeds of cows. However, because creationists get so hung up on the word kind, they don't like the fact that that particular command in most English translations of the Bible, it translates it as thou shalt, like, you shall not breed your cattle with a different kind or a diverse kind or whatever. Like it uses the word kind, and creationists don't like that.
Creationists don't like a lot of the language we would use.
I mean, they try to get around that because technically the word kind in that verse is using a different word in Hebrew than the word kind that is in the verses that they're
understand it.
Well, no, the word kind that's in the verses that they take to mean like, animals can't evolve outside their kind. But then that just brings it back to like, well, okay, then the Bible is incorrectly translated, in which case God sucks because he can't correctly translate his own book.
In which case it's not the perfect word of God.
Yeah. So
and now we've all got to be sad collectively
together. They're kind of fucked no matter which way it goes on that one. Rick Carter says, serious question. If gender and sex are not related, what's the point of trying to change your sex? I really hope you reconsider, as you will regret doing this to yourself. This was in response to a person announcing that they are going to undergo some gender affirming surgery.
Okay. I can, like, it's very easy to answer this. Why would somebody want to, if somebody's brain meats are telling them repeatedly something is wrong, 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 then what you're incentivized to do is to make that something right. You go, oh, my body feels incorrect. Or also valid, my body feels correct when I think of it this way instead. Mm-hmm. So like with any other form of body modification, you do the modification that makes you feel happier and more comfortable with your body.
Also, just taking it from right from the outset, if gender and sex are not related, who's saying they're not related? Like, we're saying they're not the same thing. They are not synonyms. That does not mean that they are not related.
No, there's definitely, like, there is a correspondence between them. We have gender roles that we associate with the sexes. We have phenotypical expressions that we expect out of the sexes, generally speaking. Like, they are linked. Yeah. They are not necessarily... They do not always correlate with one another.
They are related, but they are not exact synonyms, which is why we have two different words for that. But also, like, I really hope you reconsider, as you'll regret doing this to yourself. First off, who the fuck asked you? This is not your decision to make. This is someone else. Like, why are you pretending to care about what someone else does to their own body? You're just grandstanding, virtue signaling, if you will. But also, like, when it's been studied, people that have undergone gender affirming surgeries overwhelmingly do not regret it. Like, the regret rate is significantly lower than like people that get surgery for knees, like to make their knees not hurt, or people that get breast implants, or like pretty much any surgery. Like, this gender affirming surgery is one of the least regretted surgeries that exists. And that includes like mastectomy to save you from breast cancer. So fuck off with your "you'll regret doing this to yourself" bullshit. Anyway, go to research.vicerunner.com to see my list of trans-related research, which includes a bunch of stuff about the regret and how this argument is complete bullshit. Elon Musk, free speech absolutist, who says everybody should be allowed to say whatever the fuck they want, including fucking Nazis, says the split-second court opens on Monday. X Corporation, Twitter, will be filing a thermonuclear lawsuit against Media Matters and all those who colluded in this fraudulent attack on our company. If you're unaware, Media Matters published a thing where they showed that a bunch of companies' advertisements were showing up next to literal Nazi tweets and other far-right extremists. And their whole argument in the lawsuit is basically, oh, but they had to refresh the page a bunch of times to get that. It didn't just happen on the first try. But it still showed up. Like, they're not saying they faked the screenshots. They're saying they refreshed it until they got what they wanted. But that still means that they're showing up organically.
You know what's funny? From what I could see, the split-second courts opened on Monday. He didn't even file the lawsuit then when he said he would, didn't he?
Well, I don't know. He did file the lawsuit. I don't know exactly the timing on that.
Let me see here.
I did look for it. I debated whether or not to use this as one of the news topics.
Let's say here, he made good on the promise. Oh, it was late Monday. He filed the suit late Monday. Okay, so yeah. He did file it, and he did file it on Monday, but not the split second that the courts opened up.
He filed it eventually. He got around to it, but whatever. That's not the part I take issue with. The part I take issue with is the fact that, like, he claims to be a free speech absolutist. Anyone can say whatever the fuck they want on my platform, unless it is something that I or the platform does not like. So
But it's bad though. It's bad when other people
Yeah.
say bad things about me and my org. Don't you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes it bad. Yet, I do hope Media Matters gets to depose him or use anti-slap to take him down a peg or two, or to peg him.
Or to peg him. No, he might like that one. Don't give him what might be pleasurable to him.
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah, well, he'd never be able to publicly admit that he liked it.
Dan says, do we have a follow-up tweet from Elon about the 1,000 graves with him and a katana? Oh, yeah, that one where he's like, so many of my enemies lay in large graveyards.
Yeah, but like also if you're not familiar with Musk, he responded to a very, very anti-Semitic tweet with "You speak the truth."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Like this is one of the things that I've been seeing a lot is that people are like, "Oh, nobody's condemning Facebook or Reddit or whatever when they like have anti-Semitism on their platform." It's like, yeah, but the owners of that platform aren't like responding to the anti-Semitism with "You speak truth." So there's a bit of a difference there, just a little bit. Anyway.
Hey.
John McReynolds says, if a bad experience with a Christian makes you publicly criticize and avoid the church, why doesn't a good experience with one make you publicly praise and embrace it? Well, first off,
human beings as a survival mechanism tend to focus more on our negative experiences because that allows us to live through bad times.
Okay, yeah, there's that.
Like,
but there's also,
I don't know on the face of it.
There's also the fact that if an organization that claims to be representing the all-powerful God of the universe, like, that should be a flawless organization. They should not have a single instance of anyone doing anything wrong because they are ordained by the God of the universe to be the correct organization. Like, anyone that does something wrong should be immediately out. Like, nope, you're done. You're gone here. You don't get to speak for us anymore. But that's not what we see.
As an example here, though, I can strip this away from all religious pretext for a moment just to make it really, really simple for a lot of people. If you have a lot of good experiences with your uncle, but the thing you talk about is the fact that your uncle raped you, nobody in their right minds would say, but what about all the good times with your uncle?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understandably would focus on the really bad thing that they did to you. That would be the topic of conversation. It's the same thing with the church. I mean, hell, it's perfectly allegorical because the church is in a position of power over you 99.9% of the time.
So Fight Mage Studio kind of focuses in on the problem here where he says it's never a bad experience, though. So if we go to the second tweet from this, everybody replied with a bunch of experiences that they had. And he says, the replies to this are very interesting, thank you. Not only do I hear your reasoning and really unfortunate testimonies, but I also see how you even interpreted what I asked. When I said Christian, some of you jumped to Christian leader. When I said a bad experience, some of you jumped to years of trauma. And some automatically view someone with a bad experience as a victim. Not sure what to do with all this yet, but it's really interesting. So now,
I mean, it makes it worse for you.
So I hope that this person is honestly taking this feedback and like considering their position and like this might lead to a deconstruction moment for them or whatever. But like, yeah, no, it's never a bad experience. Like people don't become atheists because I had one single bad experience with the church. It's a pattern of behavior. It's not only did I have a bad experience, but the church sided with the person who made me a victim. The church protected them at my expense. So like it's not a matter of like, yeah, sure, if you narrow it down to people who had one single bad experience with one single Christian person who is not a Christian leader and became atheists, like if you find the one or two people that happened to, then yeah, maybe it sounds kind of ridiculous, but like if you take it as a whole where it's like, no, I became an atheist because there was a pattern of bad experiences with the church that caused years of trauma for me.
Yeah,
like
most people
that's something that if God existed, he could prevent.
Most people don't go, the preacher had one bad sermon, and now I don't believe in God. Like, that's typically not what happens.
Well, I think what happened here is this person was like, they were probably insulated in a Christian environment where, like, oh, the atheist had, like, their mom died of cancer, therefore they became an atheist. Or they had, like, one person in the church who claimed they were a Christian, did something bad to them, and therefore they became an atheist. And so when he was confronted with, like, oh no, actually it's a whole systemic problem within the church as a whole, and it's being perpetrated by Christian leaders, not just the flock, then it became, I don't know what to do with that, so I'm just going to, like, narrow the what's the word?
Narrow the factors down.
Sure, factors. That's not the word I was looking for. Whatever. I'll figure it out. I'll think of the word at like 3 a.m. this morning. I'll sit straight up like they do in the movies and be like, it was this.
Hold on.
Criteria. Narrow the criteria.
Get the doggos in. They just started doing a bark.
Started doing a bark. You leave me to shit. You leave me to bring the dogs in. Like, God, you just abandoning me to the stream, pretending like I know what I'm doing when I'm by myself. Yeah, Less Than Lucid said moving the goalposts. Yeah, absolutely. He's moving the goalposts. But the way that this is worded makes me think that, like, he might actually be considering what people are saying. So, like, this might lead to some deeper introspection on his part. Yeah, at least I hope.
You can hope that.
But
like, ultimately, when you're dealing with people like this who seem to be insulated from the church, what you hope is that they internalize the experiences of others, as opposed to making up apologia for how they can dismiss those experiences. Oftentimes, we find them trying to make up the apologia, though.
Yeah. Anyway, Answers in Genesis says Charles Darwin was not a trained scientist, and he even admitted in his publications and to his colleagues that his lack of knowledge was a loss in his own understanding of what he was observing.
Cool. So he was an autodidact like a whole lot of other people, and we don't base all of our shit off of him like the Bible.
Yeah, so here's the thing with that. First off, there's been 160 years of research into evolution since Darwin, so, like, yeah, maybe he wasn't a scientist per se, but the scientists since his time have been like, oh yeah, he was actually right, and have confirmed it, like, experimentally and theoretically, and, like, every possible way you could confirm something, they have confirmed evolution. But also, like, this is just them using his politeness against him, because if you read his letters when people, like, challenged him on things, he would always, like, open with, like, hey, you're a really smart person, I have a lot of respect for you. If someone's going to prove me wrong, I'm glad it's going to be you, because you're fucking amazing. And, like, I am nothing compared to you. But, and then after the but, he would very politely completely eviscerate whatever objection they had. And a lot of times, he was completely right in whatever he was saying. So they take everything he says before the but, which is just him being polite, and be like, oh yeah, he admitted that he didn't know much. It's like, yeah. And, like, yeah, he wasn't trained as a scientist in the same way that we would think of it today.
It's quote mining.
Yeah.
Is what it really boils down to.
Essentially, yeah. But I'm actually working on a video now where I'm responding to Matt Powell again. And I thought it was going to be a quick and easy video, but, like, everything that he says has led me down this, like, complete rabbit trail of, like, oh my God, this is so much worse than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was just going to be this is one finding that it doesn't quite fit with the rest of it and creates an interesting new topic of research. But it's like, oh no, this is actually, like, someone that has zero experience in paleontology publishing a paleontology thing in a microscopy journal instead of paleontology. And the reason he's doing that is because he's not letting a single paleontologist examine any of his finds, and he's not confirming it with anyone that has any sort of expertise in it. Oh yeah, and by the way, he got his degree from the Institute for Creation Research.
Oh, so he got it from a degree mill.
Yeah, so it's And like everything that Matt says, like I thought it was going to be an easy video, but like everything that Matt has said has been like, oh no, I've had to go down this extensive rabbit trail of chasing down every reference because like one of the studies was like, hey, this actually sounds kind of fascinating if it's true. And then I'm reading it and I'm like, why haven't I heard of this before? And then I kind of looked and was like, oh, it's been cited by like 4 other people. Why has such groundbreaking research only been cited 4 times? Okay, let's see who's been citing it. Oh, only the author of the original paper has been citing this. That's a big red flag.
They've been citing themselves?
Yeah, that's all it is. They've just been citing their own research. And yeah, it turns out that like the dinosaur bone that he examined is probably not even a dinosaur. It's probably a bison from the Ice Age from like 20,000 years ago.
No, it's a dinosaur bone. It's proof that dinosaurs walked with men.
Yeah, no.
But it's 20,000 years ago, so it's not actually, it's actually been planted by God to test your faith.
Crazy. Like I said, I thought it was going to be something easy, and I've been working, like every single point has been like, oh, this is an extra rabbit trail where I need to spend a lot of time explaining how I got to where I am. Anyway.
You don't get the easy jobs.
Vaginal desiccant Ben Shapiro says, this is legitimately one of the worst campaign blunders I have seen. Everything about it is idiotic. He's gripping the table as though he's about to keel over. He's got a rictus smile. I assume that's supposed to be ridiculous. Illuminated by fire. This cake looks like somebody set the world on fire, which he did. I would agree that cake is ridiculous. Like, Biden's 81 years old and they got 81 candles on the thing and it looks like he's up in flames.
That cake is going to be nothing but wax by the time he's done.
But also, like, when I turn 81, I want someone to count out 81 candles and put them in it and light it with a blowtorch like that. That would be fun. Why not? But also, like, he's gripping the table as though he's about to keel over. Like, no, he's just got his hands on either side of the table. He's got the ridiculous smile, I think he's trying to say.
A rictus. It's a smile for somebody gets when they have rigor mortis.
Oh, no, that's not what that looks like.
Like he's a corpse or something, I guess.
No, I mean, like, the dude's old. I would much rather have a younger candidate running for office. But, like, so the thing about that is that he is the incumbent, and if he steps aside, then that gives Trump a much better chance. So, like, fuck, we're stuck with the old guy or Trump, essentially. So, like, yeah, I'll take the old guy who actually has done some progressive shit. Like, he actually, so to Biden's credit, he ended up being way more progressive than anybody thought he was going to be.
A lot of people assumed that because he's Catholic, he was going to end up on the wrong side of things like the Roe v. Wade issue. And
yeah,
it ended up not being the case.
Yeah. So, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't say that that's like the worst campaign blunder I've ever seen. Like,
having a bad birthday picture. That's your campaign blunder.
I mean, I think it's pretty fun. Like, whoever is in charge of Biden's social media stuff, like, they understand how memes work and they do a good job with it. So, like, this is meant to be meme worthy, and it is. So, they succeeded. But also, like, just a reminder, Ben Shapiro is a vaginal desiccant. So
he needs it nice and dry, like his well-done steaks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, a wet vagina is a sign of disease. His wife told him that, so it must be true.
his doctor wife.
His wife's a doctor, and she told him that.
Doctor.
Yeah, no, the reason my vagina is always dry is because, you know, wet vagina is a sign of disease. So it's not that you can't please me. And he proudly announced that on social media. And now he's complaining that Biden is bad at social media because he took a picture of himself with a, like, flamethrower cake.
He lost the war of the memes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Ben Shapiro. Of course he lost the war of the memes. He doesn't know what he's doing with it.
Jesus Christ. So Ben Shapiro, master of self, owns. Look, one of my favorite clips on the internet is the H-bomber guy. Who are they going to sell the house to?
Who are they going to sell the house to, Ben?
Aquaman!
Love H-bomber guy.
That is one of my favorite videos on the internet.
Absolutely. It's like, oh yeah, if the flooding, if their houses flood out, they'll just sell their houses and move somewhere else. Like, yeah,
Who?
yeah, sure, Ben. That's exactly what they'll do.
I wonder what the speculative market for underwater homes looks like.
I don't know. Why don't you ask the guys at the company that sent the Titan sub down?
Let's just make sure that all of our bolts are tightened, not with heavy duty machinery, but by hand.
And
that'll make sure that
drive
they're
around
nice
with
and
the
perfect.
PlayStation controller.
That one is what the United States military does, though.
Yeah, I know. All right.
It sounds ridiculous.
I mean, if it works, it works, but it didn't work for the Titan sub.
No, it didn't.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for donating the money that you guys donated. Donate more. Project Share needs our help. They do a lot of good with this money, so please give money. And as always, fuck off. Yeah, that's my sign off.
Just
Bye.
the question. Fuck off question mark?
I don't fucking know what I'm doing, okay? I'm better than the governor of New York's live stream person. You didn't see an infinite repeat of me and Surus as the last word that we said was like being amplified and repeated and everything. So there's
That's
that.
fair.
As always, fuck off.